All right. If you're a senior architect trying to juggle services across AWS, Azure, and GCP, you know how complex it can get. It's a lot. Today, we're going to architect a solution that brings some serious clarity to all that chaos. So, let's dive in. So, picture this. It's the middle of the night, an alert is screaming from your monitor, and a critical service is down. The first, and honestly, the most important question, is a simple one, but it can be a total nightmare to answer. Who owns this, right? Who do you even call? Every single second you spend trying to figure that out is another second your customers are being impacted. And you know that 2 a.m. fire drill? That's just a symptom of a much bigger problem. I like to call it the multi-cloud chaos. Does any of this sound familiar? Incidents that just drag on and on because nobody's sure who to escalate to, or teams accidentally making conflicting changes in production because ownership is just fuzzy. Oh, and my personal favorite, those expensive, orphaned resources that nobody claims, but you guessed it, everyone is paying for. It creates these massive accountability black holes, and it gets so much worse when you're spanning multiple clouds.
Okay, so let's call this what it is. This is the multi-cloud ownership problem. It's that fundamental lack of clear, actionable ownership information when your services are scattered all over the place.
This is the transformation we're really aiming for. We want to move from a world of ambiguity to one of absolute clarity. It's all about replacing guesswork with hard data, swapping out those delayed responses for instant action, and really shifting the culture away from blame and toward clear, empowered ownership. So how do we get there? Well, we're going to architect the solution. A single, pretty elegant dashboard that really acts as the central nervous system for all your service ownership. Let's be really precise here. A service ownership dashboard is your single source of truth. Its entire job is to map every single service, every resource, I don't care if it's in AWS, Azure, or GCP, to the exact person or team who owns it, who's on call for it, and who knows how to fix it. Seriously, think of it as your operational control tower. And here's a perfect, simple example of what we're talking about. It doesn't need to be crazy complicated. Just at a glance, for any service, I can see the team that owns it, the specific engineer who is on call right now, and a direct link to the runbook to start troubleshooting. No more hunting around, no more guessing. It is all right there. All right, let's get into the practical side of things. How do we actually build the core of this powerful tool? Let's roll up our sleeves. You know, it really comes down to 3 foundational pillars. First, you have to formally define roles and responsibilities. Second, you absolutely must integrate live, real-time on-call data. And third, you need direct links to your operational runbooks. If you get these 3 things right, you are 90% of the way there. Let's double-click on that first pillar, a simple roles and responsibilities matrix. You might know it as a RACI chart. It's completely non-negotiable. For every service, you have to define who is ultimately accountable, who is responsible for doing the work, who needs to be consulted, and who just needs to be kept informed. This just crushes ambiguity before an incident ever even has a chance to happen. Now, for pillars 2 and 3, it is all about integration. Your dashboard can't be some static spreadsheet. It has to be a living, breathing system. This means you're pulling on-call schedules directly from tools like PagerDuty or OpsGenie, you're linking to your knowledge base in Confluence or Notion, and you're connecting to your cloud provider APIs and your CMDB to get that complete real-time picture. Okay, but building it is only half the battle. The real challenge and the real secret sauce is keeping it accurate. So let's talk about the secret weapon, automation. You know, this quote just says it all, doesn't it? The only thing worse than no data is wrong data. If your on-call engineer looks at that dashboard at 2 a.m. and sees the wrong owner or a dead link to a runbook, well, you haven't just failed. You've actually made the problem worse. Trust in this data is everything. And here is exactly why this is so critical. In a fast-moving environment, we've seen as much as 30%, a full 30% of this ownership data go stale in just 6 months. People change teams, services get retired, new ones pop up, manual updates just cannot keep pace. No way. So the solution is to build self-healing right into the system through automation. Here's the playbook. For every single service, stamp it with an ownership review by date. Then just write a simple automated check that flags any service whose ownership hasn't been recertified. If it's stale, automatically alert the team lead to go take a look. And if they ignore it, escalate it. This creates a closed-loop system that basically forces your data to stay fresh. So when you put all of these pieces together, the clear definitions, the live integrations, the automation, you get something truly transformative. You get true operational clarity. And look, the impact here isn't just theoretical. You can actually measure it. Take one of the most critical metrics for any ops team, mean time to resolution. By just eliminating that initial who owns this guesswork and confusion, you can dramatically slash the time it takes to resolve incidents. That is a direct, tangible payoff. What you're really doing here on a bigger scale is making a strategic shift. You are moving your entire organization away from a state of constant reactive fighting and toward a model of proactive, data-driven operations governance. You're not just fixing incidents faster, you're building a system to manage the complexity itself. So I'll leave you with this one question to think about. When you really look at your own environment, is it being governed by accident and by chaos? Or is it governed by intentional design? With a service ownership dashboard, you get to choose design.